Honeymoon from 2014. Summary: a newlywed couple finds their lake country honeymoon descend into chaos after Paul finds Bea wandering and disoriented in the middle of the night. Written and directed by Leigh Janiak, whatever, with additional writing credit going to Phil. Look at this fucking name. Guys, come on. Change your fucking names if you're going to be on IMDb.
I bet that J is silent.
Phil Graziade.
Leigh Janiak?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you get the other name? Phil Graziade?
Phil Grazi...
Day?
Graz...
idea. Phil Rocky my idea.
I call him Phil Great Idea.
Do you have any additional details on this?
Yeah, tagline. After the ceremony comes the ritual. Distributed by Magnolia Pictures and put on Blu-ray through them in 2015. That's it.
The first act of this movie is around 20 minutes long, and it's basically trying to get you in bed with the two main characters, literally. This couple is, of course, newly married.
They're on their honeymoon, right?
Yeah, that's what the movie's titled.
You've seen it.
Expectedly, a little extra horned up for each other. But there's one point where the guy says something like, "This is the bathtub you almost drowned in while you were playing submarine." They went to her home, her country home or whatever, her family's cottage. And he says that
on the lake.
He says, "This is the bathtub that you almost drowned in while you were playing submarine." And then they like basically fuck like right after that. So that's a little weird.
It's getting over your phobias and fears.
Yeah. The second act begins after Paul finds Bea wandering around at night, and she begins acting weird. He seems so caught off guard that she didn't laugh at his hilarious "I'm gonna eat this frog" bit. He when he realized, he's like, "You're acting weird." He picks up a frog.
He thought he was being hilarious. What's wrong with you?
Wait a minute, Bea. This is hilarious shit here. What is wrong with you? I was going to eat the frog.
Giving you comedy gold.
Humans don't eat frogs. 50 minutes in, this is certain. I wrote down 50 minutes in. This most certainly has something to do with aliens, because it just had to. Just everything was leading me to believe that. I still don't know if they ever said it was aliens, but I'm pretty sure it's aliens.
Yeah, because it's done. The alien is kind of represented by the light.
Yeah.
The light shining in.
Because it's not going to be a guy with a flashlight or a floodlight out there.
It definitely leads you to believe it's aliens. Like you've seen it before, like how an alien will give off light.
The third act starts once Paul figures out some screwy shit is happening and ties his wife to the bed after she tries to give him some sort of makeshift. She tries to give herself some sort of makeshift abortion in the bathroom. She's like, nah. What was she even using? Like a coat hanger or something? And then he's like, all right, B, something's up. What was that whole thing in the bathroom? And after a few bad attempts to answer correctly, he then pulls this weird snake out of her cooter, right out of her fucking right.
As one would.
And she goes nuts and starts saying all kinds of vague and cryptic shit. And then she hits Paul in the head, knocks him out. Next thing you know, it's daytime. They're in a boat, and Bea wants to hide him to protect him from the aliens. So she puts him where are you gonna put him? Right
in the boat,
in the water, So the aliens can't find him.
She's trying to hide.
Yeah.
And so then he just drowns, and then she goes up to the fucking mothership, or whatever the ending is. I don't even know what it is. It's so vague. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. I don't know why. I wish they would have done something a little more interesting or unexpected, because I knew it was aliens pretty soon on. I usually don't enjoy aliens whatsoever, but they managed to turn a baloney kick nightmare into a pretty good alien film.
I like aliens.
I think showing an alien in a movie is like pulling your dick out. Like, it's either going to really impress people, or they're going to be like, aliens. So,
come on.
They played it safe. And just the light.
Yeah, they did not show you an alien. They showed you a weird snake thing.
They showed you a
bulge. Turn the lights on.
Yep. End of movie.
Like, we're not going to flip out our alien dick, but we're going to get a little bulge.
I give this a 7 out of 10. Rachel Freeman did a good job. So,
yeah, I had forgot I'd seen this movie until I started watching it.
It sounds familiar. I might have watched this one time on Netflix a long time ago.
Yeah,
it sounds familiar.
Yeah. So this is my second viewing, and it was just as good as the first time. It's a cottage cabin in the woods. My kind of setting. I go
Jason
cabins.
loves it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it being.
Let's go out in nature where everything hurts.
Take a chase.
I never got hurt.
No,
I could have been chased by a bear.
yeah.
I have
bear.
come, I have
Big bear
come
chase.
I have come pretty close to face to a bear. We was hiking one time.
I can imagine.
Hiked up this mountain. You go around it, and up to the top is Laurel Falls waterfall. So we go up there, check it out. That's cool. On the way back down, you go around. We round this curve, and like maybe 30 yards away is a black bear.
Oh,
And
God.
you look around, there's no one around.
Yeah.
It's just you two and the bear. I mean,
What do you do?
I leave.
that was kind of
Yeah.
well. We just stayed there and we watched it because I mean, by now they're used to seeing a lot of people.
Right.
If you don't mess
Shit.
with them,
I'd be out of there, man. There was one time I walked out my back door to smoke a cigarette out on the back porch, turned to my right and saw a skunk standing there, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" And then I just turned around and went back in.
well, that's dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to
I
get.
great.
I certainly don't want to get attacked.
So yeah, I like the setting. It's done well. The acting's good enough, and it kind of has to. It kind of has to be because there's really not a lot happening.
Right.
There's no kills, so it's kind of character driven. They just gradually piece things together, and even then when they piece it together, it is pretty vague. It's kind of up to your interpretation, but I felt uneasy the whole movie. Like
Yeah, it does do a good job of that.
you're just because she starts acting strange, and you're wondering why.
Yeah, she pulls a snake out of her woo.
It's always kind of like uncomfortable and awkward and tense, and I think that's just good writing, I guess. It's not groundbreaking, nothing we haven't seen before. This was the directorial debut, though. So for your first movie, and I know this wasn't a big budget, which is why they just represented. I'm telling you, why they.
Yeah.
They could, I guess, if they had the money, they could have gave you a shot of an alien, and they made it. But the light they used was effective enough. Kind of a body snatchers feel to it,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
but there's no big alien or monster reveal. So some people may feel like there's no payoff. It's a little bit slow in the beginning. I'll probably pick this up eventually. I gave it a 7.
Nice. Honeymoon.
Yeah.
This bad review says, because this is one I didn't like to watch. I mean, like I said, it sounds familiar to me. I probably have watched it. I watched a lot of stuff on Netflix. Sincerely, I just don't understand how people voted for this movie. It apparently had a 6.0 rating on the website.
Really?
For me, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Just awful. It was getting interesting in 20 minutes in, but then just back to slow and boring. The ending is the worst.
I wouldn't say that.
87 minutes of my life wasted. At least in the end, they were happy together. Is that true? I guess
He was dead,
No,
wasn't
yeah.
he?
She
I mean, you
killed
told
him,
me-
and she.
Yeah.
There was actually another couple staying at this lake, and
She had already killed her husband.
the woman got taken over by the aliens too.
Says the only nice thing that this guy says is I think the performance by the cast was good for this script.
It was believable.
Yeah.
It seemed like
I
a
mean-
happy married couple.
When-
Little Mary Cuppy.
Whenever someone
This little Mary
says
Cuppy.
that the ending was the worst,
Yeah.
they must not have ever seen
It's
Beyond
'cause
the
there
Black
wasn't-
Rainbow, because that dude just falls and hits his head on a rock.
There was no big reveal or anything. It was just a silhouette of what
Yeah.
you would think is an alien.
Right.
You mean a trauma film?
No, trauma films are what they are.
You don't mean
They are the same from the beginning to the end.
a
If they
piece of
fuck up,
art that is
you
the
can't
Black
fuck
Rainbow.
up. You can't fuck up the ending. Oh, you're a Black Rainbow apologist?
I am not an apologist. I'm a fan of art.
There's a lot of art there.
Talk
that's
about
for
beautiful
sure.
poetry.
Yeah.
It looks
Everybody
good.
likes.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's a good music video for sure.
Not a good movie.
I like it.